This video is sponsored by Tupelodesignsllc, LLC, where U.S. shipping is always free with no minimum purchase and international shipping is discounted. They are also home of the daily deals, so be sure to check that out. My project for today will be a mixed media layered card, and I'll be using this Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Hipster stamp set, and I'll be using the chick. And I stamped out the chick 3 times with Memento Tuxedo black ink on Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. And I will need 3 because I'm going to layer these. So I'm going to start by coloring the chicks yellow. And I used my Spectrum Noir markers and colored 2 of the chicks yellow. And then I'm going to finish coloring just bits and pieces of these chicks, and you'll see why. And once I got them colored the way I wanted, and you'll see how I did this in the end result. But now I'm going to completely cut out this first chick, and then on the other chicks I'm just going to cut out certain parts of the chick, and you'll see the end result when I get finished cutting out all the bits and pieces I need. On the cutout pieces that have a black edge, I'm going to take my Memento Tuxedo black marker, and I'm just going to go over the edges so you don't see any white. And then for the chicks and the jacket, the lapel and the tie and the chick, I'm going to actually use the Spectrum Noir markers that I colored them with, so you won't see any of the white where I cut them out from the cardstock. And there you see all the bits and pieces that I needed. I needed a whole chick, I needed a head, I needed the suit lapels, the tie, and then the glasses and the beak. And I'm going to layer them on top of each other with some foam tape. And before I assemble the chick, I am going to make a background, and I'm going to use Nuvo embellishment mousse, and I'm going to use powder blue and Pacific teal. And this is a really neat product. It's a metallic, super shiny mousse type paint. So I'm going to start with the lightest color first, and that's the powder blue. And it's super creamy. And I'm going to take my little sponge applicator, and I am just going to swirl it around on top of the cardstock. And again, that's Neenah cardstock. And once I get the cardstock completely covered with that powder blue, I will take the Pacific teal, and I will also go over the top of the powder blue Nuvo mousse. And once that Nuvo mousse is on there, it leaves a great metallic shiny effect and it looks really, really neat. And for the next layers of paints, I'll be using the Dylusions paints, and these are acrylic paints, and the dark blue is After Midnight, and then I'll be using a yellow called Lemon Zest. And to get a really fun effect, I took a whole bunch of Q-tips and I taped them all together. And I'm going to dip them in that Dylusions After Midnight blue paint. And I'm going, that's a scrap piece of paper, and then I'm just going to dot it on there until a lot of the paint is gone. And then I'm just going to go all over the cardstock with these Q-tips to make all these bunches of dots. And now I'm going to do the same with the Dylusions Lemon Zest paint, but I'll use the other end of the Q-tips. And now I want to use some white acrylic paint, and I'm going to put single white dots all over the cardstock. So I'm just putting some of that acrylic paint on a stamping block, and it's one Q-tip, and I am going to just put white dots where I want them. And here's the finished result of my Q-tip dotting, and I'm going to let that dry because it needs to dry so the paint doesn't smear. And once that paint finished drying, I used the Lawn Fawn dotted die and I cut out a rectangle panel, and then I'll be using some art glitter glue, and I'll be gluing this fully colored Hipster chick. And I'm going to glue that chick right onto the dotted card panel. And now I'll be taking all those pieces and parts that I cut out, and I'll be layering them on top of the full chick. And I'll be using foam tape to do that, and it's kind of like a puzzle. You just put the pieces back where they go. And now the chick's all put together and layered, and with that foam tape it gives it a great layering effect, and it looks really dimensional that way. And there you can kind of see the layers. It's not too puffy, but I think it's just right. And that foam tape I had to cut, you know, tiny pieces for the smaller areas of the chick. And now for the sentiment, I'm going to use that word sup, you know, as in what's up. And I just put that on my acrylic block, and I'm using the Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm just going to stamp that onto a piece of scrap paper, white cardstock. And then once I get that stamped out, I'll be using a 1-inch circle paper punch to just punch a circle with a sup in the middle. I'll just put that aside until I'm ready to glue it on, and then I'll take the card panel that I made with the chick on it, and I'm going to glue that onto another piece of cardstock, and it's going to be a dark blue cardstock, and that dark blue cardstock is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'll just glue the card panel on top of that blue cardstock. And then I'll be taking those two pieces and gluing that on a standard A2 size card base in brown. And then I'll take that sup word, that sentiment in the circle, and I'll glue that onto the front. All finished, and this was a super fun card to make. I love dabbling with mixed media, so I thought the hipster animals, especially the chick, was a good project for mixed media. And you know, nothing on the inside of the card yet. I'll do that when I know who it's for. But I will link to all of the products down below so you can see the list of products that I used. And you can also click on my icon at the end of this video if you want to subscribe, and I will also have some other interesting videos for you to watch. So thanks for watching. Bye.